This is Rachel Cancino Neal. I wanted to make a video for you to really introduce Intricately Woven and for you to get to know my why behind all of this. Especially if you haven't met me before, this might seem kind of like a random kind of a thing and you're not really sure what this is all about. So I would love for you to interact a bit. Obviously, this is not a live feed, so you aren't going to do it right now. But as I'm talking and you see this video, I want you to give it a like so that I know you can relate to some of these things. So I have a paper here with my notes, so I'm going to be looking down a little bit. But I wanted to see if you could say yes to any of these questions. And if you can, give a little thumbs up or a like so that I know you can relate. All right, question number 1. Do you have an autoimmune condition? Question number 2, do you have chronic symptoms, but when you ask questions or trying to find out what's going on, you feel like you're missing something? Number 3, have you asked why your body's feeling the way it does and have gotten answers that are like these? Sometimes it just happens. There's actually nothing wrong. Labs look good. Your body just makes mistakes sometimes. Just give it some time. We'll see how it goes. Okay. So here's the context. I have had those various answers given to me at different points in my health journey. So currently I am 34 years old. Back when I was 22, almost 23-ish, I was diagnosed with psoriatic arthritis. And the only diagnostic factor really was that my toes were very swollen. They call them sausage digits. My blood work all came back fine, but so they weren't able to say, labs look fine, you're fine, because there was visible signs that something was not fine. And so I was diagnosed with psoriatic arthritis based on the appearance of my toes pretty much solely. I was so swollen in my feet, my ankles, I really could not walk. I went from being very active, very what I thought was healthy, meaning I was like rarely sick. So all of a sudden, I couldn't walk up the stairs. My husband had to assist me with driving sometimes, or I was driving a manual vehicle and I couldn't put it into gear. Probably not the safest thing, but I had to get around places. I just couldn't get into that initial gear sometimes. So anyways, that's how I was at 23 years old. The long-term out view of something like that is not very positive. Basically, I went through a few different medications, landed on methotrexate, and I mean, it definitely had less swelling, but if you just happen to look at the outcomes of methotrexate, your chances of a cancer goes up pretty significantly because of how it works. So I remember reading that and thinking, I don't want that. So that led me to look at other stuff. So I was under medical care, and then I was under naturopathic care, and I got some more answers in there. We looked at some more of my blood work, and there was a little bit more to offer there. And then the last thing before my current state of care that I have now, I was with the doctor of Chinese medicine. And again, the Chinese medicine is very different than Western medicine as far as like the testing. It was a very interesting experience, but I got results. I was less swollen, but you know what? I still had stuff going on during that time of being under medical care and then switching to naturopathic care and Chinese medicine. I started developing hypothyroidism. I had severe constipation that did get better, but it was still not great. I had severe bloating. They're saying that I had signs of endometriosis. I had several ovarian cysts that had ruptured. So yes, my swelling had gone down, but yet at this point, we're looking from like 23 years old to approaching 30. I was not doing great. And yeah, again, swelling was down, but other stuff was going on. Other symptoms started popping up. That really bothered me, and I wanted to know why. And if you have been on a journey, if you said yes to any of those questions, then you're probably aware finding out the why can be very difficult. It's hard to know what questions to ask. It's hard to know what exactly you need to look for. Now, this is how Intricately Woven came to be. So I had switched my care. There was a doctor recommended to me, a chiropractic doctor in Seymour, Missouri. Started seeing him, and he was just as interested in finding out the why as I was, and he had tests that could actually help me find out what was going on. So there was pieces of my puzzle that had never been looked at. For example, like food allergies had never been looked at for me. Well, I had a lot of foods that I was reacting to. I didn't know that until I started seeing this doctor. So there was different things similar to that where my hormones were a little bit off, or the stuff in my gut was not good, but the support I needed was not what you would anticipate. So all of that to say, Intricately Woven was birthed out of this desire that I have for people just to have a foundational knowledge of what the heck is going on in their bodies, how the body works, how the systems interact together. So I went through schooling to learn about this. And then after schooling, I continued my just personal education of reading more research to really help, so I can help people understand how this system and this system, how they come together. So Intricately Woven is the teaching that has come out of my own personal health experience. It's come from schooling that I have done, and it's also come from my personal research that I've done. And the goal, like the big gratifying thing that I get from it is when I look at my students and I see their faces saying, oh, and sometimes out loud they're saying, oh, that's why. It's a beautiful thing. So that's why it's only $5 per session. It's a 2-hour course each time, 2-hour session each time. But I'm so passionate. I hated walking through what I had to walk through, but on the other side of it, I knew God had a plan for it. I asked him, how can I use this suffering part of my journey? What is it going to look like in the future? And I truly believe that's what Intricately Woven is. So throughout Intricately Woven, you're going to hear pieces of what God teaches us in the Bible, but then also what science has to say about how the body works and how often that actually aligns with some biblical truths. So I just, again, wanted to make this video so that you knew who I am, why I'm doing this. It truly is just a passion project that I would love for at least 5 people to be able to come to this and have those aha moments, to have a better foundation for themselves and maybe for other people too. So I really hope that you do consider going to the courses, checking it out, going to the website, intentionalrestoration.net/intricately-woven. I'll put a link so that you can just click on that. I know it's really long. So anyways, again, I am Rachel Cancino O'Neill, and I look forward to meeting you.